Good morning. I want to thank you all for your attendance, and I appreciate your patience. I know we had some delays this morning, but I appreciate it. My name is Master Corporal Ryan Schmid, and I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Dover Police Department. The purpose of this press event is to announce the arrest of two individuals for the murder of May Mitchell Da Silva, who lost her life on April 21st, 2024, on the main campus of Delaware State University. In a moment, I'm going to invite Chief Thomas Johnson Jr. to the podium to provide a synopsis of this case. Although an arrest has been made, this is just the beginning of a lengthy legal process, and we still have a lot of work to do to ensure that we get justice for May. Having said that, at the end of this briefing, we're going to open it up to very limited questions. Just please remember there may be some things that we are unable to release to protect the integrity of the investigation. Additionally, as with any criminal case, the defendants in this case are innocent unless and until they are proven guilty through court proceedings. Joining me at the podium today are Chief Thomas Johnson Jr. of the Dover Police Department, Deputy Attorney General and State Prosecutor Daniel Logan, Delaware State University President Dr. Tony Allen, Delaware State University Police Department Chief Donald Baynard, Lieutenant Robert Roswell, Commander of the Criminal Investigations Unit at Dover Police Department, Sergeant Chris Baumgartner, the supervising officer on this case, and Detective Brandon Bowman, the Chief Investigating Officer. I'm now going to invite Chief Johnson to the podium for his remarks. You will all be provided a copy of his statement at the conclusion of this briefing.
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. First, I would like to say thank you to all the participants involved in this briefing and to the members of the media for your presence here today. But most importantly, I want to express my deepest condolences to the family of May Da Silva. May's family has been in our thoughts from the moment the senseless act of violence occurred, and our hope is that these apprehensions can help begin the process of healing. The Dover Police Department is announcing the arrest of Destry Jones, age 20, and Damian Hinson, age 18, both of Dover, for the murder of May Mitchell Da Silva. Mr. Jones and Mr. Hinson are charged with the attempted murder of a 20-year-old male and a 21-year-old male, also of Dover, related to this same incident. For the record, Mr. Jones and Mr. Hinson are not enrolled as students at Delaware State University, and they have absolutely no affiliation with the school. And as a matter of additional background, prior to this event, the Dover Police Department has been collaborating with the Delaware State University PD with added safety patrols at nighttime, on weekends, for campus safety and security purposes. But on Sunday, April 21st, 2024 at 1:40 a.m., the assigned Dover PD team working at the campus heard what they believe were shots fired in the area of Gate 3 along College Road and responded to investigate those shots. At nearly the same time, the Delaware State University Police Department received reports of shots fired on the grounds of the main campus at their facility. This phoned-in report stated that the shots were associated with a physical fight in the area of the Tubman Laws dormitory, with the participants fleeing across College Road in the direction of what is known as Lot 16, a parking facility for the university campus. Neither agency's officers located a crime scene, a fight, or any semblance of the initial reports based on first available information. After a separate call was made to report a female on the ground near the Warren Franklin dormitory, officers responded there and located May, suffering from a gunshot wound to her head. Her body was situated to the north of the breezeway that connects the east and west sections of that dormitory. Warren Franklin dorm is located in the immediate vicinity of Tubman Laws dormitory. Paramedics were immediately called, and May was transported to Bay Health Kent campus for treatment. And as we now know, tragically, she died from her injuries sustained during this incident. As we have previously released, Ms. Da Silva was not involved in this altercation, and we do not believe that she was the intended target of the gunfire which originated from the breezeway area that I previously described. So in continued collaboration, it was determined that Dover PD would take the lead in this investigation, with DSU PD and many of our other law enforcement partners coming along in support. Our investigation involved several witness interviews, extensive review of video surveillance, and a forensic crime scene examination. Investigators ultimately learned that Mr. Jones and Mr. Hinson were part of a group that participated in the previously described physical altercation outside of Tubman Laws with the previously noted 20 and 21-year-old males before any shots were fired. It was also established that Jones and Hinson disengaged from that physical fight and took part in firing the shots that claimed the life of Ms. Da Silva. Detectives obtained warrants for Mr. Jones and Mr. Hinson and began looking for them. On May 2nd, 2024, Jones was arrested at an apartment in the 1400 block of Prospect Place in Brooklyn, New York. The apprehension was conducted by the U.S. Marshals, New York, New Jersey Regional Task Force, Brooklyn Division, the New York City Police Department, and detectives from the Dover Police Department. Later that same day, Hinson was also taken into custody in the parking lot of Gateway West Shopping Center, located at 1030 Forest Avenue here in Dover, by the U.S. Marshals 1st State Fugitive Task Force, the Dover PD Drugs, Vice, and Organized Crime Unit, the Dover Police Special Operations Response Team, and Delaware Probation and Parole officers. Mr. Jones is being held in New York awaiting extradition on the following charges: 1 count of murder in the 1st degree, 2 counts of attempted murder in the 1st degree, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 1 count of possession of a firearm by a person prohibited, 1 count of conspiracy in the 1st degree. Mr. Hinson was committed to Sussex Correctional Institution on cash bail exceeding $3 million on the following charges: again, 1 count of murder in the 1st degree, 2 counts of attempted murder in the 1st degree, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 1 count of possession of a firearm by a person prohibited, and 1 count of conspiracy in the 1st degree. This case now will begin the court process as is outlined under Delaware law. And to take you through a little bit of that and the perspectives of the Department of Justice, I'd like to introduce the state prosecutor for the state of Delaware, Mr. Dan Loeb.
Good morning. On behalf of the Department of Justice, I wish to extend our condolences to Ms. Da Silva's family. There are no words to express the pain that you must feel. This loss strikes a discord in justice, one that reverberates across all college campuses in America, and one which the Attorney General and I, along with the nearly 250 dedicated public servants in the criminal division, actually the entire Department of Justice, truly lament. I would like to thank the Chief, his department, for their leadership. In this investigation, we express a great gratitude to DSU Police, the Marshals Task Force, and all the other law enforcement agencies that have been working tirelessly to make sure, and collaboratively, around the clock, to address this tragic loss in our community. My office will remain laser focused on pursuing justice to the fullest extent of the law. Our thoughts and prayers remain with you all. They will continue to be with you all and all those that are affected by gun violence in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you much, Dan. At this time, I'd also like to extend the invitation to Dr. Tony Allen, President of Delaware State University. who would like to share some thoughts with you from the university perspective. Dr. Allen.
Before I begin, I just want to extend again my condolences to the DeSilva family on behalf of the entire university. My wife and I had the opportunity to attend her services on Friday. It's worth noting that she would have attended Delaware State University in the fall. And after attending that incredible celebration of life, I know she would have been an exceptional student. We continue to pray for you and your family, and we will take an important moment to honor May during this year's commencement ceremony. We are pleased that the investigation has moved so quickly and are grateful to the Dover and University Police Departments as well as the U.S. Marshals for their expertise, diligence, determination in bringing the suspects to justice. As we look ahead to the academic year, the end of the academic year, and the celebration of all our graduates, we will have increased all of our security protocols. But let me say this clearly. On April 21st, gun violence touched all of us, as it has on too many campuses and too many communities throughout this country. It's not enough for us to just accept this unfortunate reality. We must be vigilant and disruptive in our own right, and we must do so by ensuring that our task is an honorable one, to educate global citizens who will in fact work to solve our community's most pressing problems, including gun violence. And at Delaware State, we will be doing that in honor of May DeSilva. Thank you.
It takes incredible teamwork to solve complicated major cases, and the Dover PD appreciates all of our public safety partners. It begins with all the elected officials and government agencies that provide us the resources to do the work that we do. It continues with the dedicated members of this agency, represented here today by their supervisory team. There are the individuals and agencies possessing special knowledge or expertise. I speak specifically about the role of the DSU PD, the Delaware State Police, the NYPD, the U.S. Marshals. Everybody had a role to play. And of course, we have a prosecuting partner that takes gun crime as seriously as we do. Looking ahead, this is still an open and active investigation. That status will limit the amount of information we can share at this time. I'm going to try, and this group will try and answer any questions that you may have. Before I open it up to questions, I just want to return the focus back to May. As a police chief of an organization charged with the safety and well-being of the city, there's the opportunity here for me today to be very proud of the work that was done by the law enforcement officials. And as much as I want to go and go down that road, I can't, because the more important priority is the fact that we're all here in the first place. I'm the father of a young lady who just graduated college, and I can't possibly put my head in the same space as what the DeSilva family must be going through with the idea that that graduation day isn't coming. It's connected to gun violence. Guns are being used as a problem-solving tool in too many places in America. It has to stop. There are other ways to work it out. If you're losing a fight, you might get a chance another day. You don't have to do this kind of stuff. Families are being affected. It should never be that way. This should be a joyous time, and it's not. So with that, I'm going to pause briefly and engage any questions that you may have.
In regards to the two suspects that have been arrested in this case, are they from this area, or are they from out of town, out of state?
As it relates to the two arrests that we made, the question was, are they local? They're both city residents. They're both of Dover.
What was Mr. Jones doing in Brooklyn? Who was he with? Are there any additional charges for someone that might have been helping him?
As it relates to him being apprehended in Brooklyn, it's not unusual when an apprehension like this occurs more than a day or two downrange that the individual we're looking for may have geographically relocated. So certainly if you're involved in a felony such as this, at some point you're going to leave the geographical area. I don't think we're in a place where there's any charges expected in New York. We are working towards the appropriate way to get him extradited back to Delaware. And as it relates to any other charges that may be coming related to any other individuals, as you might imagine, during an ongoing investigation, criminal culpability is either established or excluded for any of the other, I'll refer to them as persons of interest right now. And we're just not to that point in the investigation to clearly state whether there's going to be any more arrests or charges filed.
Do we know how long the extradition process may take?
I'm going to ask Mr. Luke on that one.
So,
Yeah.
the short answer to your question is no. A lot of that depends on whether they're fighting it or not, and the legal process in New York to hear. But in due course, sorry, I don't have a better answer for you.
This might be a question for Chief or Dr. Allen or Del State, please. One of the things we heard from students is, and I have kids in college, I don't think it's possible where they go to college, you got to close the campuses, you can't fence in the whole campus, I wouldn't imagine. So bad people can come on. Is that even a possibility? I mean, you can't, I know Del State is, like most colleges, kind of porous, in the fence line, basically.
Yeah, most college universities have an open and walkable campus, and we certainly have that. We certainly have security measures, including our own police force, and we secure the residence halls as well and fully staff them as well. But it's very hard to prevent anybody from just walking on campus at any university. So it really is about our being diligent, and vigilant, and certainly Chief Boehner and his team, Superintendent Overton, who was former chief police for us and now runs student life, certainly did their job. And we have a great partnership with the Dover Police Department. So it is an unfortunate reality, but we want to be open and engaged, but also safe.
Doctor, do you see any protocols going in place to change security going forward?
Excuse me?
Will there be any changes to security going forward?
We have spent millions of dollars in increasing our security since 2020, quite frankly, and we'll continue to invest. We're always looking to be better, but sometimes these kind of unfortunate circumstances happen on college campuses and throughout communities.
Dr. Allen, can you explain the mood on campus? I know finals just wrapped up, commencement is this weekend. What has it been like on campus and working with students and speaking with students and families during this time?
We have, instead of running from these kind of things, we try to run to them. A couple of days after this unfortunate event, I actually had a virtual town hall. We have counselors on the ground throughout this time period. Students have had vigils in honor of Kamei, and we have welcomed all of that, and we'll continue to do that moving forward here. We also have a trauma academy that we started just 2 years ago, and that has also been helpful for students, staff, and faculty.
Chief Johnson, is there any information on how many witnesses there may have been to watch this incident?
I can't give you specifics on the number of witnesses. As you might imagine, we have hearings to prepare for, and some of this speaks to prosecutorial strategy. But this does give me a chance to compliment the RAs who were on duty in the dorms. Without getting into specifics, I'm just going to say they did what they were supposed to do. They were present, they were proactive, and they were the beginning of the alert to public safety that there was a problem on campus, and that put them in a position to give us information that helped advance the investigation in the early stages. So I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm giving a shout out to the RAs in this scenario.
How quickly were security officers and police at the scene following the call?
As I alluded to earlier, our detail, as I said, we've been working with DSU for quite some time on making sure that the nights that you could predict that there would be activity on campus, that we had extra officers there to help supplement patrols. Our team heard the gunfire, but as you might imagine, when you're driving around and you hear the echoes of gunfire, very difficult to pinpoint exactly where you think it's coming from. You do your best, and you get out of the car and hey, you guys hear anything? Do you guys hear anything? And you're trying to piece it together. And so I'm not sure that there was any kind of a real delay, because my understanding is that the RAs are calling in through the mechanisms available at the university to alert their police department, and our guys heard it in real time. So it was pretty much an immediate response.
Chief, can you share at all what this original altercation was over, what stemmed it?
Hard to tell, because not all the interviews that need to take place have taken place yet. And on another level, even if they had taken place, I'm not sure I could share that at this point.
Were any of the people in the first altercation students on campus, or were they all from the outside?
I do not have any information that anybody involved in this scenario, either anybody that might be on any potential suspect list or anybody that might be considered a victim. I don't believe anybody was a affiliated person with the institution, either student or staff.
Dr. Allen, quick question in regards to kind of following up to that. Was there a certain event that was happening on campus that day, or what was going on that day?
We had several events going on campus. A student-led picnic, which went quite well. A silent DJ party, which was only 4 students. That also went quite well. And we had our spring football game, I believe, that day as well, which was fine. So it was a typical weekend at the university.
Dr. Allen, pardon me if I missed this, but any specifics on the increased safety protocols that you referenced earlier?
Oh, sure. It's about $45 million since 2020. It includes any number of things, including making sure that all of the buildings are secured from a technical standpoint. An increased number of cameras on campus has been a big investment for us. What we provided with respect to our campus safety, our police safety, a cadet training program that we've just established, and really much more.
Was any of the shooting captured on video?
Again, case file information, we're not prepared to speak about that right now. Apologies.
Chief, can you share with us a timeline from when this happened, and forgive me if I missed this,
Sure.
when this happened to when you developed suspects, who you thought you were looking for? How long was the shooting until you figured out who you were looking for?
I would give you a range that goes between hours and just a couple of days. Imagine, if you will, the amount of video footage that would be available, and the ability of individual humans to watch video and rewatch video and catalog what they're seeing and cross-referencing it to another camera in a different spot that had a different angle. So things start to come in drips and drabs, and then starts to form a little bit of a scenario, and then finally you find that shot that gives you, hey, you know what, I think I can see a face in that, and then you start moving forward. So I would say within a couple of days, we kind of had an idea of who we might be looking for, but as you can see, the timeline that'll be in the statement will tell you how long it took from inception to us having probable cause and authorization from the Department of Justice to effect an arrest.
Chief, is there any information on the number of police officers in security from DSU that may have been on duty at the time this incident happened?
I'm actually I'll defer that to Chief Baynard. He knows his staffing model, but as you might imagine, smaller agency.
Good morning. In addition to collaborating with the police department, I believe there was 4 of their officers on duty that particular night. We had a number of officers and security. We also contract security out with a local vendor. In total, I believe there's at least 10 officers on duty that night.
You have time for one more question, so if anybody has one final thought.
Chief, can you say whether the 2 defendants were previously known to police or not?
I don't think it would be appropriate to comment right now. I appreciate the question, but that starts to delve into criminal history information, and I have to protect that, so I apologize.
Thank you all for coming.